Welcome to Blue and Bleu. My name is Mark,
I'm RJ.
and we're here to talk about the Leafs and the Habs. So, a lot of talk so far this year about the Leafs season. A lot of talk about the Habs season. So, the Habs are in the tail end of a rebuild right now, and it's, according to all the experts, it's going fantastic.
Absolutely.
Couple tools missing still. We could get into that. But let's talk about the Leafs right now. And
Well, the Leafs are, this is the end of the Shanaplan era. And I say end. To me, the first episode of Game of Thrones, winter is coming was the big line. And I think that's what we got going on here. It's very much a look of like the Pat Quinn, Matt Sundin 2006 era where that team had gone to about 3 Final Fours, didn't get it done, and over a 7-8 year period. And it just fell off the map. And the next thing you know, we've got 8 years of missing the playoffs. And
right, so we know the Leafs did a rebuild. They started, what 2019? I think 2018 they started to rebuild around there?
No. 20, Shanahan came in 2015 was when the thing whole started around.
Okay,
We got Nylander in the 14 draft, Marner in the 15 draft, Matthews in the 16 draft.
So they're way past the end of the rebuild.
Well, my thing right now is what can Tree Living do to get out of this? They only have a third and a fifth round pick next year.
Yeah.
They have that pick with Carlo is lottery protected. If they finish in the bottom 5, they get to keep the pick, which would probably be wonderful because usually your top 5 players picked, there's a good chance you're going to get a horse in that.
Yeah, there's talk of a retool. Do you think the Leafs need a retool? And what does that mean?
Well, they need something, but I don't think they can really. I don't really know what they can do. They don't have any draft picks. They've got limited assets. I would hold on to them. They've got Ben Danford down in Brantford. They've got a couple other guys doing well. Hopkins and this other guy who was a late pick, Harry Nancy.
He's a real Nancy. That's just a joke.
I'm sure they'll get a
mind
lot
the
of
pun.
They'll get some Wendell Clark.
He's not. Don't come over and beat me up. Believe
But
me.
Owen Sound, Nancy plays for Owen Sound, and he's come off the charts. He's improved tremendously. So they've got some guys down in the juniors that are playing really well. I think the Tree Living should hold on to them and not trade any of them. I think it's got to weather this out. Hopefully,
so you think just
gets
ride
better.
out the storm?
I don't know what they're going to do. The defense is, I'm telling you right now, winter is coming. They've got 4 guys on defense that are in their 30s. Riley, Larson, Tanev, and McCabe, all signed to long-term contracts for large money. I don't know what can they do.
So are the Leafs making the playoffs? You think they're making the playoffs? Because there's odds right now. There's odds on, like, you could Google this any time of the day you want to. There are odds right now that's saying that they have better odds right now of getting the first round pick than they do of making the playoffs.
Basically, what the Leafs have to do now, between now for the remaining 60 odd games that are left, 55, whatever it is, they have to play at about they have to play at a level over 600 to get to that 96, 97 point level. Nobody makes the playoffs only get with 88 points. I think they're on a pace right now for about 87 points. So they're going to have to step it up and play at a plus 600 level. I don't see that happening. I think the Leafs are going to end up. This is what they used to do after the Pat Quinn era ended. They would come up and they were constantly finishing in 14th and 17th, 18th place, like in the middle of the road, not getting a high round draft pick until they finally imploded, and then that's when they started getting Marner and Matthews. So I think that's what we're looking forward to. We got no first round for the next year. We don't even have a second round next year. No first round in 27. So that's what you do if you have 2 years of no drafting.
Hard to rebuild without draft picks.
Well, that means like 3-4 years later, when these guys are like 21 and 22 and coming in with cheap salaries, they're not going to. We don't have them, so we're going to have just a bunch of bloated salaries. And what have the Leafs done for the last 60 years? They always bring in veterans, guys like Domi on this 4-year, $3.75 million contract, which is just horrendous.
What do you think of him playing center right now? Actually, they put him back on the wing last game.
I wouldn't have him playing at all. He's minus 12 or whatever he is. I wouldn't have him. This is the problem. The other problem the Leafs do. They bring in these guys like Janarok, Domi, and so forth. But now they brought in this Joshua guy who's on for 3.25, 3.25 for another 2 years, for this year and next year. We still got him next year. And these could be jobs that would just be given to the Marlies. to let them develop. This is how we lost Mason Marchman back in the day.
Yep.
They had him down they had him down on the farm, and they had some other boob that was some 30-year-old guy taking his job.
Yeah.
He should have been developed up here. So I would bring up some Marlies. They brought up Quinlan. I would do more of that. Bring up some other guys and let them have these jobs. And they just got to ride it out. There's not really any way to get out of this, I don't see, because they have no draft picks. And they don't, even the prospects I just mentioned, like Danford, not really attracting that much.
Well, I got to tell you, before, sorry, I just hit the mic there. Before Matthews came back and Nyes came back there this week, I was watching the Leafs play, and I didn't recognize half the names on the team because they're all guys from the farm team.
They had a lot of
Marlies. I don't watch the Marlies.
They had to force a lot of farmers. Program sales were up. That's the one benefit of a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
I think that that the basic problem here is they've had a bad start, and every year there's a team that has a season from hell. I think the Leafs are the season from hell team this year.
Do you pull up the stats there, Neil, and see who with on the Maple Leafs right now, and then we'll see who's performing and who's not so far this year. Like, we could pull that up. You could scroll up on that a little bit. We got Nylander right now, who's your lead scorer, and then John Tavares is number 2. Nyes, even though missing a few games, is still number 3 right now. What do you think of that? What do you think of?
Well, he's stepping up his game. He's obviously becoming a quintessential power forward, and his game's he's going to be a great Toronto Maple Leaf for the next foreseeable future.
Yeah,
that's a wonderful. That's one of the leftovers from the Dubas era that's going to actually help us out.
Yeah, one guy that's actually surprised me a lot lately, and he played really good against Montreal, was Ekman Larsson.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, and with Tanev out and Riley, he's playing offensively well, but not defensively well. Larson is logging in 22 minutes a night. He's like 34 years old. How long can he go the whole year? By the end of the year, he's going to be a burnout. Back to John Tavares, though. This is a weird one for me. This guy comes in here 8 years ago, signs a 7-year, $77 million contract, $11 million a year. And I don't think he ever performed at $11 million. He probably gave us an $8 million a year career.
That's RJ at P.O. Bucks.
Then he comes in, and now he comes in and he signs his peel out contract to finish off his career for $4 million. And now he's still playing it, but now he's playing it at like a $10 million level. So he's right now. Tavares actually might be the best contract in the NHL. It went from I'm not ever say it was one of the worst, but it was not a good contract that lived up to its value. And right now he might have. I'd be hard pressed to say what player in the NHL is providing more value on their contract than John Tavares. So that's one of the pluses of this season that the Leafs are wasting with their poor defensive play.
Right, and one of the pluses right now is, of course, it's the Montreal Canadiens. This season, they're outperforming all expectations. Everybody wrote them off this summer saying, they're not going to be a playoff team. They're not going to be a contender. They're not going to be a contender. They're not going to be in the mix. And then they came out and surprised everybody with these back-to-back wins. The young guys are performing well. Demidov, I believe, is still the rookie points leader, and I think by a couple points. Hudson's still performing, although they're talking about the sophomore blues right now for Hudson because his points are not as high as they were last year.
Well, he's trying to concentrate a bit more on the defense, I think. So what about Montreal? What are you going to do? You're going to go and try to pull a heist in Pittsburgh and pull Sidney Crosby out to play for his father's favorite team?
Yeah, you know what? If you listen to the Montreal media, it's kind of calmed down a little bit for it was all the rage for a little while that hey, Sidney Crosby should come to Montreal.
He's not
finish his last couple of years in Montreal.
He's a loyal Penguin and he's not going.
Yeah, he's not coming to Montreal. I think that's just a pipe dream. And even then, if you ask my father loves the Montreal Canadiens. I should have him here as a guest one day because my father is actually a pretty cool guy. He refereed the NHL back in the day, back in the 70s. He knows a lot about hockey. And he says, I don't want Crosby. He's too old. He doesn't want old guys on the team. He wants to get rid of the old guys, and he wants to keep going with the young guys.
If they don't get Crosby, they are fishing around for another old guy. There's rumors. Nashville's our first cross-off team this year. They definitely are not going to make the playoffs, and they are already in. Barry Trotz is already in sell-off mode. So there's talk of Ryan O'Reilly being shopped all over the place.
Right.
And apparently he wants a first round and a prospect. Do you think Montreal should go after Ryan O'Reilly?
I don't think so. No.
Well,
I don't believe so.
the Leafs did this 2 years.
I think
ago.
the price would be too high.
The Leafs took Ryan O'Reilly 2 years ago, and it didn't work out that well. I would personally stay away from Ryan. If you can get Ryan O'Reilly for a second round, Nashville's not going to do that. They're going to find a sucker to take him, and who knows? He's still a great player. He's got good numbers. I think he's got 6 goals. He's almost got 20 points.
Yeah. We're looking for a second round center that's not made of glass. That's what Montreal's looking for.
He got banged. He did when he came to Toronto. He got banged up and wasn't there for the final games in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Can you bring up the stats on Montreal there, Neil, the producer Neil, and see who's performing out in Montreal and who's not? You want to scroll up a little bit there. So we got Suzuki right now as the points leader, which is no surprise, obviously. He's usually the go-to guy for points in Montreal, and usually more assists than goal. Cole Caulfield's still second, Lane Hutson's third, and Demidov, of course, being the leading rookie right now in points. I think he has a lot more assists than goals, right? He's got 13 and 5. He's only got 5 goals in the season, which is good because, this kid, he's still young. He's getting his feet wet in the NHL. I think the goals are going to come to him. I think so far this year, every one of Demidov's 5 goals have been a highlight reel. They haven't been, flukes that just been tap-ins or something like that. He's been a force. I think goalies are afraid of his shot.
He's got eyes in the back of his head too. I watch him in the attack zone. He manages to throw a puck right over to his right on the stick of one of his compatriots. I find him to be really like I don't want to say he's Wayne Gretzky, but he plays like he's in that realm of Wayne Gretzky with the eyes in the back of the head.
Yeah.
And the puck 1 minute is on his stick, and the next minute it's on the tape of his winger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just is wide open.
Yeah, I wouldn't compare him to Wayne Gretzky. I would compare some things from him to Wayne Gretzky. Like the one thing I would compare him to Wayne Gretzky is Wayne Gretzky was famous to know that he knew where everyone on the ice was at all times. And it seems like Demidov has that hockey savvy. He's got that situational awareness where he knows where everybody is on the team.
He's doing the thing where he's sometimes you see he's playing chess and the defense pair on the other team's playing checkers.
Yeah.
He's got that kind of, let's leave it at that. Maybe no one's Wayne Gretzky, but I was just trying to explain. He's definitely, and he's only 19 years old, so he's going to get better.
Right. So now Montreal's got some new acquisitions this year because it's all part of the rebuild. I think Montreal's probably in the last year or second to last year of their rebuild. I think once they get that second line center, the rebuild will pretty much be done. So we got Zach Bolduc and we got Dobson in the offseason.
Well, let me talk about Dobson.
Yeah.
Because as a Leaf fan, you traded in the offseason 2 first rounds. Mm-hmm. I think it was picked 16 and 17 in this past draft for Noah Dobson, and then signed him to an 8-year contract. And I think it was a wonderful deal for you guys. We traded Leafs traded 2 first rounds at the deadline last year, and we got Brandon Carlo and Scott Lawton. And
who?
Scott Lawton. He's been hurt. He's played 4 games, no points. Played 5 games now, I believe.
Yeah.
This is the thing. And this says 2 things. First of all, what a waste of first rounds by Treliving. But second of all, just in general managers in the NHL, when you're trading at the hockey deadline, the prices are this, and then when you get to the June draft, the prices are this. So Dobson would not have gone for 2 first rounds at the deadline. It would have been 2 first rounds and 3 prospects or some crazy thing. The prices are so high at the deadline, makes these deadline deals really tough to make. But you got to make them better than that. Scott Lawton. 4th line. He's playing on the 4th line for the Leafs. We traded a first round for a 4th line center, and now we've got Brandon Carlo. Yeah. He's third pair unit. He's a third pair. He's mostly being used as a penalty kill defenseman, and he's playing horribly. And
and Dobson's got 16 points in the past 22 games, which is mad. He's a defenseman. So
I believe he scored 2 goals against us.
Yes, I did. I think
game last Saturday.
Absolutely, yeah, I did that. And so we do have some injuries, but I mean they'll come back eventually, and they'll probably come back at the time of the season where we're going to need them. But Montreal's definitely, in my opinion, a playoff team right now. Are they a Stanley Cup winning team? No, they're not going to be a Stanley Cup winning team until they get that second line center, and maybe somebody like Florian Jacki stays up in the big leagues a little longer, because everybody knows if you're going to be a Stanley Cup winning team, you're going to have some muscle. You have to have some size. Montreal being a pretty small team with Hudson, Caulfield, Carrier. These are all shorter bodied people. Newhook's a smaller guy as well, even though he's got tree trunks for legs. I think Montreal needs to have some size. They definitely don't need to add any more speed. Like they're definitely one of the faster teams in the league. They just need to like. And the perfect example was against Washington the other night. They just got pushed off the puck. They were being outplayed or out muscled, just like if an NHL team was playing an AHL team. So I think they definitely need to add some size up front, which I think that Florian Xhekaj is one of the answers that we could have up front on that. And I guess first game in the NHL, he gets into a fight, and it was a pretty good one too. So I mean,
That was a good one.
yeah, absolutely. So tell us what you think about the season so far. Like and comment down below. If you think we're full of crap, let us know. And we'll see you in the next video.